Good morning, everyone. I will call this Board of Fire Commissioners meeting to order. It is June 4th, and it is 10 a.m., and we'll start with a salute to the flag. Commissioner Andriel, if you could please lead us.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll now move into roll call. Madam Clerk.
Chair Alexis Hill.
Here.
Vice Chair Jeannie Herman is absent. Michael Clark.
Present.
Mary Luz Garcia is absent. Clara Andriola.
Present.
Fire Chief Charles Moore.
Present.
Deputy District Attorney Michael Large.
Present.
And I'm Kathy Smith, Chief Deputy Clerk. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move into item 3, public comment. Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 3 is public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. The district will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment?
We do. Tracy Thomas.
Okay.
Good morning. For the fourth quarter of 2023, despite a $3 million overtime budget and the safer personnel, Reno still closed units on 9 different dates. Their 17-position Safer Manpower grant expires in September. Unless they get another sizable grant, more stations or units therein will close every day, leaving the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District to respond to the calls if Reno dispatches them. They have already demonstrated a resistance to do that, which has cost lives and property. There is currently no penalty or enforcement provision for Reno to honor any auto aid agreement. How about fixing that first and see how Reno complies with that before any discussion of consolidation? If they can't handle a mutual aid agreement, they certainly can't be trusted with yet another consolidation. How about looking into the previous 3 failures of consolidation with them before setting Washoe County up to be hoodwinked again? Reno comes in and takes all the good equipment, degrades the service, and takes all the tax money. Then, once they've used us to rebuild their fleets and reopen stations, they pull out. They are making fools of this board once again. Why is this board and staff still dragging their feet on funding for the infrastructure improvements for Hidden Valley and Washoe Valley? Once again, the Nevada State Infrastructure Bank met on May 21st, and once again, there was no agenda item for the application by Truckee Meadows for a loan grant for fire station construction, despite multiple promises that the application would be submitted months ago. As you will see with the call data, Spanish Springs needs another fire station. Truckee Meadows has a 10-acre parcel already secured that could provide for this need, as well as a substation for the Sheriff's Department that is also desperately needed out here. How are we going to begin that project until you can complete the other 2? What are these meetings actually accomplishing? Thank you.
No one else has signed in.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move into item 4, Chief.
Madam Chair, item 4 is Commissioners' Fire Chief's announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
Thank you. Do you have anything for us today, Chief Moore?
I do, Madam Chair. I want to announce that we have signed the contract with our Spanish language translator, and you will see Facebook posts now posted also in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking constituents. And second, I want to announce that our team that entered the, I'm going to have to read this so I get it right. The Reno Tahoe Odyssey, which is a 178-mile relay. We had 9 wildland firefighters and 1 structural employee, placed 29th out of 232 teams, and the total run time was 25.5 hours. So shows how physically fit our people are, and kudos to them.
Thank you very much, Chief. I will now go down the line on the board. Commissioner Andriola, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to have to agree with some of the points that Ms. Hilton Thomas made, and I think that we need to look into some other issues that are revolving about her part of the county. Also, I need to bring up yet again, and I know it's not a fire department issue per se, but it's all the fire apparatus parked in my neighborhood. My neighbors are complaining about it on a regular basis. We don't know if it's a wrecking yard, a remodeling shop. I don't know what's going on out there, but probably have 15 or 20 pieces of fire apparatus out there. Maybe we should deputize that group and recommission some of that equipment out there. But it's jam-packed in there. It's in a residential neighborhood, and I believe it's a fire hazard just with flammables, lubricants, tires, fuel in vehicles, and even fumes in gas and fuel tanks are a problem with it, I think. So I hope the county code enforcement goes after it and vigorously enforces the code regulations the way that they do with horse property. So that's my comment. Lastly, again, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to point out, and it's not that it's going to wave a magic wand and instantly build a fire station in Washoe Valley. I'm trying to get a message across to everybody in this community. Time is money. When we missed an opportunity several years ago, now we're looking at, I don't know, it depends on who you're talking to, $3, $4, $5 million more of cost for something that should have been built and occupied several years ago. So we need to get that fast-tracked, and there's a lot of other projects in the county that need attention. Met with the judges the other day. The courthouse is, beyond obsolete over there. So it's only costing more tomorrow than it does today. So the sooner we get that moving, the sooner we can save tax dollars and save our money for things that really need to be done here in this county. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to give kudos to our team. I received a letter from the Montreux Homeowners Association this week thanking our team for the expert advice and counsel about control measures for potential wildfire damage to homes and the commitment that TM has to their Fire Safety Day that takes place in May. And we had our team out there. He listed the team members, Captain Satterfield and Operator Lambert, and Firefighter Scannell came out and supported that event, and it was an event for 400 families and very successful. So I commend the team, and Chief, I commend you for your leadership on that. With that, if there's no other announcements from the board, we'll go on to our consent. Is there any questions on item 5, consent by the board? I'm not seeing any. Madam Clerk, is there any public comment on consent?
There is none.
Thank you very much. I am looking for a motion on our consent 5A and 5B.
So moved.
Thank you very much. Looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. We have a motion and a second. Any questions on that? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And that motion passes 3-0. We'll now move into item 6, Chief Moore.
Item 6 is the International Association of Firefighters Local 2487 report.
Good morning, Commission. Jim Clauser, Union President. First, let me say thank you. I appreciate your patience for my absence. The last couple meetings, I had a personal tragedy, loss of my family.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so I was not able to attend. So I appreciate your grace and your patience with that. Commissioner Clark, I know someone involved in that thing that you specifically mentioned with the fire engines. I will speak to them directly and try to get an answer for you as far as what they're planning on doing, if that helps. The big issue, I think, from the body side, we had one of our stations have a mold problem that was kind of unexpected. Fortunately, through the vigilance of our crews, they caught it. It is getting restored. We were temporarily displaced. We are now back at the station. It is getting resolved. I talked to the technician yesterday. He projects 7 to 10 days before their piece is done. And then the construction crew that's going to come in and finish off the part that gets destroyed will take place someplace after that. But they are moving forward at a pretty rapid pace now to get that done. So other than that, we're good.
What station is that?
39. Happens to be my station as
Your
well, but
station.
I've been gone for the
Yeah.
last month, so fortunately I didn't have to deal with it too much. But for all the citizens of Joy Lake and Montreux and Mount Rose, the station is back in quarters for everyone concerned. I think the other crew is now here, and they're hearing this for the first time because I just found out some of this yesterday. So that problem is getting mitigated and will be done hopefully relatively shortly.
Any questions for the president? Seeing none. Thank you so much for taking the
Okay.
time. You and your family have been in our thoughts and
I appreciate
prayers.
that. Thank you so
Yes,
much. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7, Fire Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 7, in paragraph A. Our solar installation at Sun Valley has now been approved. We're talking to the contractors, and that's ready to take off. And even better news, we have 4 stations and headquarters that FEMA is asking questions about our application. That's usually a good sign. So this is not a done deal, but we are hopeful and encouraged that we'll get grant funding to install solar at 4 more stations in HQ.
Wow, amazing
So
work.
we'll keep you informed on that. And we are getting into wildfire season. Before that, I'd like to ask Brett Taylor, our Wildland Urban Interface Coordinator, to talk about curbside chipping, and also maybe, if you wouldn't mind, Brett, talk a little bit about what I was going to talk about in 1 as our increasing wildfire conditions.
Yes, Chief, thank you. Brett Taylor, WUI Coordinator, for the record. So the first part is the community curbside chipping program that we've been supporting through the district for the past 2 years. And in my position, I see that as a great benefit to the community and to engage the citizens in their own defensible space. So we want to bolster that program through additional funding. So there's a grant application out to FEMA through their Fire Prevention and Safety Program that for about $500,000 that would allow the district to fund the crews to do 2 different sides of the district, north and south, 2 days a month through the entire year. And that would, again, force multiplier for us to be able to support the program and really get a lot of material produced by the homeowners out of the, out of that dangerous zone around their homes. And all of that would be at recommendation through a defensible space inspection from me or anybody else in the district. The other part to consider is as we move into fire season. I think that as we're coming into fire season, the thing to watch out for, especially for the district, is our accumulation of fuels, hence the curbside chipping program. But around homes and around in the community, especially the areas to the south and west of our districts, have just consistently grown, and with our wet winters, we've had an accumulation of fuels that would lead to disastrous fires if we have fires in that area without a fast response. I think those are the areas we want to look at up in the Montreux, Galena, Arrow Creek areas, which is why we're actively pursuing grants to address those areas. Those communities are active in their community engagement and have been the best advocates for their areas to do defensible space and community defense. Anything else you want to address, Chief?
I think that's good.
Okay. Great.
And Verdi, are you talking about Verdi to the west specifically?
Yes, so they're also a Firewise community. We've worked with them for the past couple of years. They have a smaller chapter of Firewise, not as many homes in there, but the property that that Firewise community has a footprint on is pretty much all the way up against the mountains there as it goes into California. Definitely a fire hazard. That whole I-80 corridor is a concern and definitely a target for fuels treatment in the future.
Okay. Well, maybe we can make sure that that's addressed at the next cab that we have.
Okay.
Thank you. for
And thank you for reminding me, Commissioner. All of the cabs are on the schedule for me to go to give just a pretty simple fire safety and defensible space informational session to the members that are present.
Great. Any board members have questions? Commissioner Andriola?
When will you know about the grant in terms of the actual either approval or?
Within the next year, it's FEMA, so they move pretty slow.
do.
I'm hoping before, the curbside chipping program right now is twice yearly, spring and fall. I would hope before next spring that we know and we can start supporting that monthly.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner questions? Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Madam Chair, capital projects update. I had the pleasure of giving Commissioner Andriola a tour of the current conditions at Hidden Valley and the need for rebuilding that station, and I think it was informative. For the commissioner, the bays are so small that it's difficult to bring apparatus in and out. Now, here's some good news, is we'll go to the building department in Washoe County and apply for a building permit on June 10th.
Yay.
So plans are finally done, I think as of June 7th. The utility relocates are done. And now here's the thing about Hidden Valley. That station is never going to go out of service once we start tearing down the old bay and start all the construction work. We carefully considered this years ago when we bought the house next door to the fire station site and converted it into crew quarters. And the plan was that when we're building the new bay, we'll move the fire truck into the RV garage that is attached to the house. So never is there going to be a time during this whole construction that Hidden Valley is going to go out of service. So I don't, at the risk of sounding defensive, I don't see what the concern is here with this station has got to go tomorrow. It doesn't have to go tomorrow. What we need to do is to get the plans finished, get the financing in order, negotiate a guaranteed maximum price with the contractor, bring it back to the board for consideration, and then we start digging a hole for the new station. That's how it's going to work. And that's how all the fire stations that we build work. I mean, there's a process here. I've got 3 fire stations that we're working on to get out of the ground as quickly as we can, and there's a lot of moving parts there. Mm-hmm. Hidden Valley is moving forward. I've been in touch with Marge Franston, the HOA president, and that's probably all I want to say is we're moving this forward as quickly as we possibly can. Now, the financing piece is another big question mark, and Ms. Vance and I are working with our financial consultant to see how we're going to do that. Despite the public comment here that I haven't submitted the SIB application, yes, I have. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to wait for public financing, and then if that doesn't pan out, and simultaneously, we'll look at private financing. So this station's moving forward. With respect to Apple, we're 50% along the way with construction documents, which construction documents are the plans that we get a building permit for. Apple's very excited about getting this station done, as we are as well. Once those drawings are done, then we apply for a permit and we get started on that. We probably still have a few months left. There's hundreds and hundreds of pages of construction details that you have to get done. And once that's done, then the contractor looks at giving us a guaranteed maximum price so we know how much, so Apple knows how much it's going to cost, because Apple's paying for the station. This is somewhere between a $15 and $17 million capital contribution to the district. Taxpayers need to know that we're adding capacity. And in this particular fire station, it's not going to cost the district except for the additional bedrooms and the additional bay that we're going to build onto that. Because this station is identical floor plan, it also means that when those plans are done, then the site adaptations for Washoe Valley then just need to follow along with that. So we're pushing this thing to the goal line as quickly as we can, but it's methodical, and there's a lot of things boxes that we need to check along the way. And item 3, I probably will need to table this, but I've been working with the Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board on data. One of the things that really shocked me when I heard from REMSA and from MSAD that 50% of our medical calls in Cold Springs are priority 1. And that means priority 1 means that they're life-threatening. 50% of the calls. And that was kind of a wake-up call for me to say, wow, maybe we need to look at more resources for this community potentially. We've talked to REMSA on a long-term plan about adding an ambulance to Cold Springs, which we'll put into our long-term plan, but this is the reason why we do a standards of cover document, so we can see where the call demand is since the last time we did this, which is about 12 years ago, understand where our gaps are in terms of current service, and then also forward look to where we may see increased demand in this community so we can do some planning around that. So hopefully in the next month I'll have some hard data to show you, but that's really what our contemplation was. We want to look at the whole area to see where where the public is really needing our emergency services. Not only EMS, structure fire, wildland fire, hazardous materials, the whole gamut. And let's see what else I needed to mention to you. I think that's it. I'm done.
Oh, Chief, working hard. Great update. On the Cold Springs, just really quick, do they have, is there medical centers at all up there, or urgent cares or anything like that?
No,
Cold
the
Springs?
last freestanding ER was built near Spanish Springs.
Right.
But
Okay.
there is not, no.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Looking to the board, Commissioner Andriola.
I just wanted to, thank not only the fire chief, but the crew and the whole team of support and operations, and the planning and the thoroughness that's been taken. And thank you for submitting the application and taking the time to review it. I have, reached out to the residents and trying to communicate, if you will, to the residents and sharing that good news. So I think everyone in Hidden Valley is greatly appreciative. And I think the point, just to reiterate, is that it will still be in service while the construction. I think that's a really important factor. So thank you for showing me all the detail with that and being able to execute that so there isn't any exposure while construction takes place. So I do want to thank everyone for their hard work and expertise, and hopefully we'll see that, groundbreaking very soon, and we'll be up and running and continue to see the progress of other stations as well. So thank you.
Commissioner Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A question for the chief. Why do you think that there's a large number of emergency calls that are life-threatening up in the Cold Springs area? Is that the age category of the folks up there? I know there's a large number of seniors in that area. Is that a contributing factor?
That's what I'll be talking with MSAB about, but yes, it could be those and other factors such as socioeconomic levels. Certainly in Sun Valley, where that's true, we see more medical calls in Sun Valley. But that's an excellent question to probe, and so we'll get after that.
But you specifically said Cold Springs, and Cold Springs is quite a distance from Sun Valley, so I want to make sure that we're looking at actual data from Cold Springs. I know I visit the Cold Springs Senior Center up there. There's a lot of seniors, high percentage of the population are seniors up there. And to kind of dovetail with that, it has not a lot to do with this, board, but I think we need more senior activities up there as well. Transportation is a big issue up there, getting to Uber, I understand, doesn't travel out there. The taxis are hard to get out there. Folks have medical conditions and need to see a doctor. So Lifestyle Homes has purchased a van out there that we're trying to get back into operation where the folks can carpool into medical appointments and things like that. So maybe medical attention on their own could, if they're seeing a doctor on a regular basis, might prevent this type of increase in emergency calls. So transportation's a big issue out there, and could save you folks a lot of extra work and a lot of extra agony and pain for the families if we can get folks into town for their doctor's appointments and medical attention. So, and prescription. So it's just something that can kind of work with what you brought to our attention. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, and then item B, I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
I'll just let that report stand unless there's any specific questions about that report.
Okay, thank you, Chief. We'll now move into item 8. Back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 8 is a recommendation to accept a donation of 3 Zoll X Series advanced cardiac monitors, defibrillators, 12 Lumify portable ultrasound machines, 4 O2 mechanical ventilators, and 4 iStat blood analyzers, including any required carrying cases and corresponding supplies from the Inter-Hospital Coordinating Council. And if accepted, express sincere appreciation for the thoughtful contribution, and approve Resolution TM05-2024, accepting all donations and adjusting the EMS fund for the non-capital items. I don't have a presentation, and I don't see any of my EMS staff here, but I can wing it if you'd like a presentation.
I mean, what a generous donation, and I'm sure that this board appreciates that, and I'll look to the rest of the board to see if there's any questions on this item. Commissioner Clark?
I do, based on what we just talked about in Cold Springs, how are these devices going to be allocated throughout your fire district? Will we make sure that the Cold Springs area gets access to some of these life-saving devices?
Thank you for the question, Commissioner. All of our rigs have these pieces of information or the pieces of mechanical equipment on the rigs. So we typically look at what monitor needs to be replaced and get rid of the oldest stuff first. So I don't know where those are in particular, but I do want to mention that Mr. Taylor and I went to Cold Springs to the Community Senior Center, and we talked a lot about these issues, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors and signs and symptoms of a cardiac problem or a stroke. So they're very engaged, and they want us to come back, and I think that's where it starts, is a lot of dialogue with our seniors, and you're absolutely right. They're a vulnerable population for us. Certainly, we've talked to REMSA about some resources to where we could do some community health days in and around our services, and fire and REMSA personnel could be there just to do health screenings like blood pressure. And sometimes it just makes people feel better when they're getting their blood pressure checked by a paramedic, and they're asked some questions, and we see how they're doing, and those are the kinds of programs we would like to do more of next year. But to answer your question, I don't know where each one of these will be going at one particular station or another.
Well, it's good to hear that all your vehicles have some type of device such as this, and so these will be either replacements or upgrade existing equipment that you may have on the field. But thank you for your outreach to that community. They feel sometimes they feel like Alaska. They're so far separated from the rest of the lower part of the counties that they appreciate you coming out there, especially talking about fire evacuation and wildland fires. They're very interested in that. They realize that there's limited ingress and egress points out there in their community, and an older group like that is not as robust. If the roads aren't open, they're kind of trapped. So
Yeah.
they're not ready to go off-roading in their cars and side-by-sides or motorcycles. They're kind of stuck out there. So we appreciate you conducting what you've done out there and sharing with them evacuation and ways to keep their homes safe. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, is there any public comment on this item?
There is none.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion on item 8.
So moved.
Thank you. In a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. And it's up on your screen as well. Motion passes 3-0. We will now move on to item 9. Chief Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 9 is a recommendation to extend Resolution TM 21-2023 to August 15th, 2024, authorizing a short-term, less than 12 months, interfund loan to not to exceed $1.5 million from the general fund to the emergency fund for the purpose of funding emergency event costs, pending receipt of state, local reimbursements expected in July of '24. Ms. Vance, would you mind giving me background on this, please?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is the interfund loan that we did earlier in the year. Usually, I like to have those paid off before year end, but we did recently receive we call it the IOU email from the state for the reimbursements. So those are now expected in July. We did loan from the general fund to the emergency fund $1.5 million. We have paid back 1.3 of that, so there's still $200,000 that is of a receivable, about 1.5 million. So we're expecting that in July. We'll be able to close that off. And for the fiscal year 25 budget, we moved all these processes into the general fund, so this is won't be an issue next year.
Great. Looking to the board to see if there's any questions. And Madam Clerk, is there any public comment on this item?
There is none.
Okay, well, I am looking for a motion on item 9 then.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Andriolo.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. And the motion passes 3-0. We'll now move on to item 10. Chief Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and with your permission, I'll paraphrase this
Yes,
lengthy paragraph.
please do.
Something a little shorter. Item 10 is a recommendation to approve retroactive and continued purchases for needed supplies and services from various suppliers that have or will exceed in the aggregate $100,000 during this fiscal year, but will remain within available adopted budget funding.
Okay. Any questions from the board on this item? Madam Clerk, is there any public comment?
There is none.
Okay. If there's no questions, I'm looking for a motion on item 10.
Suspense stall. I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner
Second.
Andriolo. Thank you, Commissioner Clark. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And that motion passes 3-0. All right, we'll move on to item 11. Chief Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will do the same short introduction on this one. Item 11 is a recommendation to approve the property and liability insurance and workers' compensation insurance proposal for the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District for 1 year beginning July 1, 2024, for a total estimated annual premium of $1,910,621 and authorize the purchase of insurance based upon the attached insurance renewal summary. And we have a revision to that cost, which is a little bit lower, and I believe Cindy, I don't see her, there she is. She just popped up above the podium.
Okay, yeah. So we did, with our insurance brokers, they did manage to get the renewal just a little bit lower at 1.903. So we work with USI, and they did do a full formal bid for fiscal year '24. They're familiar with the insurance markets, so we didn't go out to do a full bid on this one. They worked with our brokers, and on some of them, original quotes were actually $200,000 more. So one of the items that they got down was workers' comp, which is 1.8 million of the 1.9. So obviously, that is our biggest expense and our toughest insurance part, because not a lot of people do insure standalone fire districts, because there's not a lot of, the risk isn't mitigated by other employees and stuff. So it's overall an 8% increase. We had expected that, approximately about 10% increases in insurance. So we did include those in the fiscal year 25 budget.
Great, thank you. Looking to the board to see if there's any questions. I'm not seeing any. Any public comment, Madam Clerk?
There's none.
Okay, and they saved us close to $7 million, so there you go. I am looking for a motion from the board, if that's the case.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, looking for a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. And that motion passes 3-0. Okay, we'll now move on to item 12. Chief Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 12 is a recommendation to approve a 3-year regional hazardous materials response team agreement to include a new provision of funding for 1/2 of a City of Sparks Fire Department Division Chief position assigned to the Regional Hazardous Materials Response Team effective July 1st, 2024. This has been a long time coming. What it is the person who's going to be in charge of the regional hazmat team, which is comprised of firefighters from the City of Reno, from TM, and from the City of Sparks. The reason why we're funding this 1/2 with Sparks, Reno did not feel that they could successfully or timely get funding done for another position. So what they've opted to do is to fund our normal nominal contribution to the hazmat team, plus add a vehicle for the division chief to drive, and they're doing the same for the City of Sparks. So when you do the math, it pretty much comes out to all three of our costs under this proposal are about the same. It's just that we're splitting this position with the City of Sparks. The person has been nominated. He's about the smartest guy I've ever met with respect to hazmat. The position is needed simply because it's kind of a leadership-less function or a group that needs to coordinate the training and coordinate the drills, and all three agencies believe this is really an important step for the hazmat team moving forward.
And so this is a City of Sparks employee,
It is.
and the City of Sparks thinks that they can continuously fund this through their budget process as well?
Yes, we think that this deal will continue for us. We're hopeful that we would continue to fund a half of it, although, at some future point, Reno may do a third, and third with Sparks and us.
Okay,
But at least to get this thing off the dime, we're doing it this way.
okay. I'm looking to the board for additional questions. Commissioner Andriola?
What is the gentleman's or the person's name, just out of curiosity? Because to make a statement that he's one of the smartest people I think we should at least say his name if that's appropriate. I'm not sure if there's a process of just nomination and then he has to be approved, but if we're not breaching any of that, it'd be great if we could say his name.
I believe we went through some interviews, of course, but he's always been a leader in the hazmat world regionally. His name is Nick Claich. He's the captain right now for City of Sparks. I didn't mean to say he's the smartest guy ever. He's the smartest guy in hazmat that I've ever known, although he's pretty smart generally. I don't want to heap too many accolades.
Oh, and he's a good guy too, so that was all we needed. So anyway, thank you for that.
Yes. Madam Clerk, any public comment?
There isn't.
Okay.
I had a comment,
Okay,
a couple of
Commissioner
questions.
Clark.
As was one of the people that is not the smartest person me. I've got a couple of questions. I'm a civilian, and I'm trying to get my head around hazmat. I'm trying to think, we've got major interstate highways going through the county. We've got an airport. We've got train tracks. All of those things, in my mind, lend themselves to hazmat. Over the years, you hear about trains falling off tracks, airplanes crashing, trucks rolling over. So is that part of the job that this person's going to do, is oversee those incidents when and if those happen? I hope they don't, but laws of nature being what they are. I mean, we've got those things here. Are there other apparent hazmat situations here? Do we have any chemical factories or other things that might come into play? Can you give us on the record an overview of what hazmat really might mean for our community? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. We have hazmat potential everywhere, in Truckee Meadows and in Sparks and in Reno. It's one of those types of incidents that have low frequency but high risk. I know in our jurisdiction, we have chlorine that goes up and down the Mount Rose corridor. Yeah, we don't have a train that runs through the city of Sparks. Actually, we do have a train that runs through our jurisdiction. And if we have a derailment, then we have the potential of things that we don't want going into the river. That's bad for everybody. Highway accidents, we have, sometimes chemicals get mixed together very innocently and create bad vapors that come into a building. There's just 1,000 things that can go wrong. But a hazmat team requires constant training because chemicals change and things happen, but they don't happen every day. The thing with a hazmat team is we need to train in a cooperative and consistent way. And Mr. Klage is really going to oversee this and get us going to where we're boom, 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 we get things done quickly and not a lot of time expires from when we get on the scene to when we can resolve this and make a bad situation, bringing it under control and getting it managed. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
So your troops are already in a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365-day mode. That's your business model. That's what takes place. But these hazmat issues could pop up holidays, weekends. They're not 9 to 5. This could go on any time of the day or night, year round. And so this particular person who's going to lead this is going to be training the staff year round for any eventuality that we may have. And,
Yes.
okay, very good. Thank you.
I just wanted to also add the increase in going from 35 to 95 over the years is a testament to not only the growth, but, looking at what equipment needs and having somebody that's really the lead of that, I think is really important. And since he's a good guy and well-equipped for this job, I think it should give all of us comfort to have that kind of cooperative approach and the level of expertise and professionalism to handle. Hopefully, nothing happens, as you put it, high risk and low frequency. But I think it really is amazing to have seen that increase. That's a lot, from 35 to over 95 members. So, kudos to Mr. Klage for taking on that role as well. Thank you.
And if I may add, Madam Chair, that not every firefighter is a hazmat guy. You have to get specialized training in this, and you have to become a hazmat technician, which is an advanced level of training way above what you would normally have for the job. So kudos to the team. We have those types of qualifications embedded with Reno Sparks and with us. But I should bring Nick Klage in and have you meet him. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yes, a future presentation for sure. Madam Clerk, any public comment? I'm sorry, I don't remember
There
if I
isn't any.
asked. Thank you. I am looking for a motion on item 12.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Motion passes 3-0. We'll now move on to item 13. Chief Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 13 is a recommendation to accept the 2024 Annual Performance Evaluation of Fire Chief Charles Moore, to include a discussion of results, goals, and objectives, and consider adjustments to the employee's salary according to paragraph 3, salary of the employment agreement executed March 15th, 2012, including consideration of cost of living adjustment and merit increase of up to 5% of the employee's current salary, and authorize the staff to make all necessary adjustments.
Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. For the record, Carla Ribiaga, HR Manager for Truckee Meadows. So for Chief Moore's evaluation, we sent out a feedback survey in late April. We sent it out to 28 participants, and we received back 19 of those, so about a 68% return ratio on that. Of those participants, we had the fire commissioners, external stakeholders, 13 of them, his 6 direct reports, and 4 division heads. In his overall evaluation, he had areas of growth, but overall, it was meets expectations and exceeds expectations for the majority of the evaluation. I did give you guys copies of the breakdown of the evaluation. Of the part, all the evaluations that people did, all of them had one question, and that question was, give us an overall review of his performance. And 11 of the 19 that responded put him as exceeds expectations, which is 58%. And 8 of the 19 put him as meets expectations, which is 42%. So his evaluation overall was very good. And like I said, I have given you a copy of it. Per Chief Moore's agreement, as it says in here, he is eligible for up to a 5% merit increase and his COLA, so. Any
And
questions?
the board, just for the record, the commission review of Chief Moore was exceeds expectations overall.
So, yeah, 4 of the 5 did it. There was an 80% response rate. And overall, and I don't have it with me, sorry, but overall, he was exceeds even there.
Right, on the average and everything.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that that was clear on the record. And the cost of living is 3%?
I mean, yeah, it's, we don't have a number
Oh,
because it
and then
changes.
merit is up
is
to 5?
Up to 5,
Okay,
correct.
okay. Well, I will start. I think that this is one of the hardest jobs in the county, running a fire district. We're the only fire district up here, and I really think that, Chief, it's a hard job, and you're doing a great job. It's a joy to work with you. You're very responsive, and I'd like to recommend for the board that we do. So, can I do the cost of living at 3 and then a merit at 5, or is that how? Okay, I'd recommend an 8% with those 2 combined.
Okay.
But I'm looking to the board on your input and feedback as well. Commissioner Andriola.
Well, I too just want to echo your really expeditious response, whether it's a text or a phone call or an email, is really appreciated. I also appreciate you being forward-thinking in terms of anticipating various situations that may come up, especially with those in the district that I serve and the constituents that I serve. So I do want to thank you for that, and I would support the proposed 8% overall that you had offered. So thank you again for always being there. You haven't deleted my number yet, so that's very hopeful, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Commissioner Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm a big fan of Chief Moore and support what he's doing. The only thing that gives me a little pause is we don't have a full board here today. It would be nice to have the other commissioners weigh in on this, but I support the raise as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chief Moore, do you have anything for us?
Thank you for your support. I have never had a board as engaged and honest and direct with me about the things you want done. That's extraordinarily helpful to know what you want done so we can get after it and make some progress. And quite frankly, I enjoy working for all of you very much. And I enjoy working for the public. And I'm a fire chief that's blessed with an incredibly talented staff. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes me successful, and I need to say that with all honesty of heart.
Absolutely. We are also blessed to be public servants, and by the letters we get and the feedback we get, you give your heart, you've given your heart to TM Fire. So thank you so much for your service. It's been great to watch, and you give us a lot of pride being your board. So thanks for your leadership with that.
Thank you. And finally, I wanted to just draw your attention to goals and objectives to see if that list is appropriate or if there's anything you want to add to that.
And looking to the board to see if there's any additional input that folks have. I'm not seeing any. Okay. With that, I am looking for a motion on the 3% COLA and 5% merit.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. All those in favor, please say, oh, Madam Clerk, any public comment?
There is none.
Thank you. I didn't think there was. I just want to make sure. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. And that passes 3-0. Okay. We're in, item 14, we're not doing a closed session, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
But do let me say thank you, commissioners, for your consideration.
Absolutely. We'll now move into item 15. Chief Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 15 is Commissioners, Fire Chiefs announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
Okay. Chief, anything else for us?
Nothing else, Madam
Looking
Chair.
to the board to see if folks have anything else. I'm not seeing anything. All right, we'll move to item 16.
Item 16 is final public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. The district will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
Madam Clerk.
And no one is signed in.
Okay, with that, we are adjourned. Have a wonderful day, everyone.